Ina. I'm the district trainer for District 5000. We're in the midst of our spring training assemblies. Before we turn it over to Ryan, I wanted to introduce, for those of you who don't know her, this is Sandy Matsui. She's our incoming district governor, and she just wanted to say a couple of words before I toss it over to Ryan.
I just want to say aloha and thank you for being here today, everyone. It's great to see all of you and hear about all the exciting things that are happening with youth services. This is the future of Rotary, so each and every one of you are so key. I just want to say mahalo and aloha.
Okay.
But Benson, technical question.
Yes.
Sorry, one more technical question. You know, in the chat, is there a way to let go of the last session chat and start with the fresh chat for this group?
I will see if I can do that.
If not, just know that the ongoing chat is from the last session, everyone.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I think I have to stop it. Well, what I'll do is I'll just save the chat. Okay.
Don't you love this learning on the go?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? Learning on the go. Okay, well, feel free to participate in the chat, or if you already know how to do that, let me know. So with that, folks, I'm gonna turn it over to Ryan Char now, who will be the moderator for our session today. Now, if you go to the upper right-hand corner and when you see that view thing, if you click on it and put speaker view, then Ryan will come right into your living.
Okay. I don't know if you want that, but sure.
Yeah, okay. Go for it.
But you can, and I will be sharing my screen here with some PowerPoints and a video just in a bit, so my video will shrink down anyway. But welcome everyone to the youth service session this morning. I'm glad to see you all here. I'm Ryan Char again. I'm the District 5000 Youth Service Chair, and I'm glad to see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces. So I'm kind of trying to gauge a little bit about what folks want to hear today. We've got a lot to cover. I've got a bunch of other folks joining in on the presentation to talk about important things like youth protection and RILA and some of our partnerships that are going on with Toastmasters International. So I want to make sure we give enough time to all of them. But please, as we go through the presentation here and the conversation, feel free to enter any questions you might have in the chat. And towards the end, we'll actually also have some time for a breakout session as well. We're trying to make this as interactive as possible. And you'll have some time to ask questions and go through some of our best practices that we're looking to do with youth services coming up here in the next year. But I'm going into my second year as the youth service chair. The first year was a little rocky with COVID, but I'm excited to continue on in Sandy's year and really try to, get our youth service efforts with further momentum and effort and energy. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you to do so. So with that, I'm going to share my screen here. Can you all see that?
We're good, Ryan.
Okay, good. So, welcome, again, and hopefully you don't see this.
Yeah.
I'll minimize this here. Welcome to the Rotary family here, kind of the Rotary youth family, and probably many of you are aware of these different organizations. So I'll try to keep this brief. But for those of you that don't know me, I'm Ryan Char. I'm a member of the Honolulu Sunrise Rotary Club. I'm also a civil engineer and a principal here at G70. We're an architecture and engineering design firm. But as part of my efforts at Honolulu Sunrise Rotary, I've been the faculty advisor here at Roosevelt High School and Mid-Pacific, not faculty, the Rotarian advisor at Roosevelt High School and Mid-Pacific Interact Clubs. So that's me, a little bit about me. As part of the Youth Service Committee, we really cover a whole bunch of different efforts and activities within the district. We are trying to connect different clubs together with Interact clubs throughout the state and get other Interact clubs going. As you can imagine, that was a little challenging this year, but we do have Interact clubs throughout the islands and throughout the entire state. We also try to help and manage Rotaract, although they're a very kind of independent organization right now. They're doing a lot of things on their own, which is great, but we also try to coordinate all of their activities with our Rotary activities as well. Well, there is an early act program as part of D5000 that is for elementary school students, and we work with the families and the students in elementary school. I'm not going to talk a bunch about that today because we don't have a lot of early act programs, but we do have that available if you are interested. We also help to coordinate some of the Hawaii Rotary Youth Foundation activities, HRYF, which we'll go over a little bit in a bit. RYLA, I have our RYLA chairs from the district here who will be talking about the Rotary Youth Leadership Exchange. And we also manage some of the Rotary Youth Exchanges that go on in terms of sending students abroad internationally to work with other clubs and other families and other community service organizations in different countries in the world. So that's a little bit about our Youth Service Committee here. Let me just tell you a little bit about Interact because that's my passion. I'll have others in the committee be talking about their fields as well. But I do want to, say that Interact is available. We're running strong. There's quite a bit of Interactors around the world, but we are trying to make sure that we build our Interact programs here within the district. And so I know I've been working heavily with my committee to try to get those things going. But that the Interact clubs are available for ages 12 to 18. That's middle school to high school. So, we could have Interact clubs in middle schools. We have some at Dole Intermediate and Central Intermediate schools. They, develop their own service projects. They gain leadership skills through there. But I think what has been the challenge for our Interact clubs recently is that they need strong leadership from both the Rotary clubs as well as the Department of Education. And I think that's something that has been a struggle to find, but our partnerships with the DOE, especially when they were busy teaching remotely this year. But I am very involved with the Department of Education through my work, this committee. And so if you are interested in reactivating your Interact club at your particular school, whether that's your high school or your middle school in your area, please reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to me. And I want to make that work. I want to make that happen. We're looking at reactivating clubs in Castle and Waipahu, at Campbell High School, all over kind of the island of Oahu right now, obviously. And I would love to help anyone if you're outer island or on Oahu. We do also have an upcoming mentorship program that we're going to be working with the Eco Club. It's great that the Eco Club has kind of put this together. Tiara Evans and Peely over there have come up with this great one-on-one mentorship program that they're going to be trying to implement here in the next year. And I want to be able to sponsor that throughout the district. And that's going to be something that pairs young leaders and young executives with high school students and middle school students throughout the state. And so since my focus today was on Interact, I wanted to share this quick video of, can you guys all see this video screen here? I want to share this quick video with just a high level overview of what my Roosevelt Interact Club is doing. And I was trying to do this here. So I'm going to play this. Can you guys all see this?
Yeah, looks good, man.
Great, thanks. Here we go.
Let's get it. We groovy, baby. So, tell me where you from, tell me your name. I'll maintain your attention if you do me the same. Girl, the way you dance has got me going insane. And now it's time to turn on the lights. Yeah, so I can get a better look at you. You're the baddest in the place, who'da knew? A young Bobby Darin, the way that I put in work on the mic. Staying up all night, I certainly might.
Oh, I want it all the time, yeah. Need it in my life, yeah. Feel it in my spine. So get down on the floor, let it take control. It's got me wanting more. So please don't stop this, please don't stop this. It makes my feet just wanna. Come on, baby, it's me and tonight we're letting loose. So much that we could do. The feeling that I'm feeling inside, yeah. I got the feeling that I'm feeling inside, yeah. I got
The feeling that I'm feeling, no explaining it from.
So that was just a little short promo that they did to try to get others from Roosevelt to join their Interact Club. And I'm happy to say that this year is looking great. Even with COVID, we were able to probably increase our ranks from about 20 students to about 40 this year. And they've already selected their officers for next year. They're looking forward to getting going for the next year. They already got 2 campus beautification projects scheduled for next week and the following week, and they'll be joining my club for Rotarians at Work Day here at the Pearl Harbor Bike Trail. So super excited, but that it takes that level of kind of involvement from me and from my faculty advisor at Roosevelt to create these relationships with Interact. And so I'm more than happy here to provide my insight to you directly. I don't have a lot of time today, but we'll have some time towards the end to go over some of that. I wanted to talk briefly about Rotaract. We do support our Rotaract clubs here within the state, and there's a council available. Ernesto from, I think, Rotary Club of Honolulu or Waikiki, one of those is on the council there for Rotaract.
Into your club.
Sorry. So just some tips and tricks. Get involved. Try to do joint service projects. Do vocational training. We'll be promoting some projects here with youth mentoring and mentorship programs with the Eco Club, like I said. But if you saw the video there, you can see that the Interact clubs are doing all sorts of different projects in Rotary's different areas of focus. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for them to be involved, and that's what I would like to talk about. For HRYF, wanted to talk about this very, very briefly, but make sure that each of your clubs this year is supporting HRYF. They're a great organization. Each club is able to give out a $5,000 scholarship to a high school student, deserving high school student of their interview choice. And that's money goes a long, long way for many of these students. I was a recipient of the HRYF scholarship for my club, Honolulu Sunrise, back in 2003. It has been a while. But I can say that, it made a difference in where I went to school, and it made me come back and talk to my Rotary Club when I moved back to Hawaii from Los Angeles. And so please support HRYF and Jeff Horvath over there, and support them and do your interviews, do your contributions, give aloha through Foodlands program, and donate to the foundation so they can continue to give out money to deserving high school students. With that, I do want to pass it over to Peter Evans here really quickly to talk about youth protection and making sure that we keep our youth safe as we go through our activities. So Peter, I'll let you, I think you got a couple of slides to share, right?
Well, no, I don't. But
Okay.
what I do want to say is, thanks, Ryan, for that intro. Really, safety does come first. And when we're talking about our youth services, there's a lot of great things that we plan and we like to do. We just have to make sure that we have our youth's best interests at heart in everything that we do. But first of all, I just want to congratulate you all on your roles with youth services. I see some veterans out here. I see some new faces, some new people out here doing these wonderful things. And, this is one of our best ways in mentoring and community outreach. So I want to congratulate you folks. And this is going to be a very exciting year for all of us. One of the big things, and when I talk to Ryan about how long, I can talk forever on youth protection, we can go on training, but really this is going to be an overview. And what I want you to really know and understand is involvement is key to success. And with that comes certain responsibilities. One is understanding what is required as a volunteer working with youth. We have our reputation, our personal reputations, our duty to protect our youth that we work with, and the reputation of our clubs. So really, one of the things that I would like to urge you all to do, and if you haven't done already, is to take a look at the Youth Protection Guide. That's in the District 5000 website. Under resources, take a look at that. It's a wonderful document that spells out basically from A to Z what's expected as your what's expected in being responsible in your role as in youth services and in youth protection. Sorry. But going back and understanding what's required, knowing that there is a volunteer affidavit, understanding and knowing that there are background checks involved. Knowing these things will get us past a lot of the compliance requirements that we ask. But planning is also key. Planning and understanding the risks involved. I talk a lot about risk analysis, and that's my background professionally. But when you take a look at risk assessments, how do we plan for an event? As you saw, Ryan had a lot of great things on his video that him and his group does, but that doesn't come without having a proper risk analysis. So, planning for event, not just how we're going to get the students or the kids out there and planning for food and things like that, but knowing how many kids are there, how many volunteers, understanding the ratio, how many adults per child, understanding the weather. The weather is a big deal, making sure that we're preparing for that. Things like restrooms. Are there restroom facilities? Is it within walking distance? Drop off pickup sites, et cetera, et cetera. We can go on and on, but when we do a very robust risk analysis, we will be preparing properly for that event. So these are things that we have to be mindful when we're dealing with youth. We want to, like I said earlier, protect the youth, protect our Rotary brand and reputation, and then protect you folks, the volunteers. I know this is kind of a big high-level overview. Benson knows that we do a lot of training sessions in youth protection. I just wanted to make sure that I welcome you folks. Background checks, that's the first step in a lot of the things that we do. But my name is Peter Evans. I'm your youth protection officer. I've been your youth protection officer for a while. Started off with Nolani Flynn and, moved on after that, and back for the last 2 years, and I guess up for the next one. So I must be doing something right, I guess. But I am on I can be reached on email. That's YPO, Youth Protection Officer, YPO at rotaryd5000.org. Or you can call me on my cell number, and that's 808-389-7459. One of the key elements and one of the big things with youth protection is being able to communicate well. And that's something that we're going to really emphasize. We have emphasized, and we're going to keep emphasizing this upcoming Rotary year. And that's communication and being able to report. We want our volunteers to be able to be comfortable out there. And if anything, if they need guidance or support, always be able to reach out to any one of us for that. So other than that, I know I talked really quick. I hope that's good information for you folks. I'm not sure who's next, but any questions or anything that you folks have, please reach back out to me. And thank you, Ryan, for leading us here.
Oh, thank you, Peter. He has one of the toughest and most important jobs in our youth service group and in the district. And so I want to thank him for his continued service here in that role. It is a very, very important part, and we definitely did not spend as much time as we probably should on it. But as Peter mentioned, there will be consistent YPO trainings throughout the year. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to him or myself directly. It is super, super important. When I was going through the agenda that we had done, I was like, oh, we don't have a lot of time to talk about all this stuff. So we're gonna keep going. But thank you, Peter. Next up, I do have Tim Henson and Joanne Laird here to talk about RYLA. And this is one of our biggest programs that the RYLA committee does a great, great job. This year, they did a very difficult but very successful statewide virtual RILA. Usually RILAs are handled by each individual island, but this year they did a statewide one, and I'll let them share all the glory and the success of that event here. I know they have a couple of slides, but I'm going to pass it over to Tim Hansen to share a little bit about RILA and what happened this year and what they're looking forward to next year. Go for it, Tim.
All Ryan. So yeah, I'm Tim Hansen and member of the Rotary Club of Hilo Bay on Big Island, and was invited to be the 5000 RILA statewide chair. And as Ryan said, usually Kauai, Oahu, Maui, and Big Island do separate camps. And in the reality of our COVID age, we realized things were going to be different this past year. A lot of RILAs across the nation actually shut down and they didn't do any sort of camp. But we were also excited about wanting to make sure to still provide this experience for youth here in Hawaii. We decided to move forward. If you can do the next slide. And we did, in fact, pivot and decide to do a statewide virtual RILA camp using both Zoom as a platform and also Discord, if you're not familiar with that social media platform, as a way of building space for the kids to be able to connect. We had an incredible statewide team with a representative from each of the islands. Want to give a shout out certainly to Jen and Mary, who I see are on the Zoom call with us. And it's because of that team and all of the work that happened, we were able to put this camp together Friday night and all day Saturday. Next slide, please. RILA is part of the pathway to Rotary, and that's why we're so excited about it, because we know for many kids, it may be their initial exposure to RILA, but kids that are already involved in Interact or Rotaract, also a way to kind of reconnect. And so we kind of see it as that flow, building future leaders. Next slide, please. So we were able to do this camp and pull together over 100 high school students that met virtually over this time. We had 11 Ohana groups. Each of those Ohana groups were led by a youth facilitator, which is somebody that's been through RILA in the past, along with 11 Alakai adult Rotarian mentors that were there to oversee and guide each of the Ohana groups. Wonderful participation. We contracted with a young man out of Hilo, Jacob Bao, who was able to handle all of the technical side that was able to make it possible. And scholarships were provided by Rotary clubs from all across the state, which of course also made it possible for us to do. Next slide, please. And so ways that you can be supportive and involved is to help recruit 10th and 11th graders for the adult RILA camp experience. Registrations run between $100 and $200, looking again at next year. So we always need clubs to be sponsoring students so that they can attend. Also the donation of items. We did a survival kits that we mailed out to each or hand delivered to each of the students, which contained a lot of amazing things that helped the camp to be exciting. Gave out lots of gift certificates. And another slide. I know our time is limited, so I'm just kind of go through. So we developed a website, so you can go to www.rilahawaii.org, and there's more information there. Soon we'll be having some other videos and things up. And the committee, we have a little bit of extra funds, so we're actually going to be providing mini grants to the Ohana groups. Anybody that wants to have a small grant to help move their ideas forward is something that we hope to be doing in the coming weeks as well. And I see Josh is joining us, who is one of our reps from Oahu. So with that, I'm going to hand it back so that we can hear a little bit about the junior RILA experience this past year.
Thanks, Tim. So Joanne, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Good. If you'll throw up my first slide, throw up. Yeah, right. For the first time ever, we had a middle school RILA, and it was District Governor Naomi said, Joanne, put this together, please. And I said, sure, why not? So we ended up with 54 students from almost every island. And we had 10 facilitators, 4 observers, 3 staff. We couldn't have done it without tech, with Wendy Hornack, who managed all the tech. The 10 in 2 hours, it was a 2-hour middle school RILA. The Zoom rooms met 3 times after a keynote keynote provided inspiration. And so we had one trained facilitator for every 5 to 6 students. And all those students, of course, were from different schools and different islands. The curriculum was based on character, connection, and contribution, and the Rotary 4-way test. Tomorrow, next slide, Ryan, is the Junior RILA reunion. The kids wanted to meet again. And as of Monday, over half of the 54 students have committed to attending. All the facilitators are returning. They've contacted their kids, and the curriculum will be starting with 30 minutes. Toastmasters is going to be doing optimizing your speaking skills for 30 minutes. And then the facilitators are going to take their Zoom room kids back, debrief, catch up with each other, share their contributions, and then we'll bring them all back together at the end. And the kids were asked to share a contribution of what they were going to do in their community or school, and that's going to happen tomorrow. And the hope is we want all these kids to start a middle school Interact Club. There's not a lot going on for middle school kids, and Interact will be the way. For example, I know on Lanai, there are 6 kids from Lanai that were 6th graders that came to Junior RILA, and they are ready to go with an Interact Club. We're getting them help. That's it. I know we had time.
Thanks, Joanne. It's been a challenging year, to say the least, this year to do these programs, but I'm happy to say that the committees have done a wonderful job. So please, it's always important to support RILA. As many as they have mentioned, they are future interactors, future Rotarians, future Rotaractors. But please, find a way to support and find a way to sponsor and volunteer at RILA. There's plenty of ways to get involved. So that's kind of our summary here on the RILA program. I'm going to move on this year to some partnerships that occurred and have been occurring with Toastmasters and Youth Exchange. And so please find ways to get youth in your areas involved in these partnerships. Is Tom Gross on the call? I don't know if he was able to make it today, but Tom is our youth exchange coordinator. So this is where you may look and find students age 15 to 19 who might be interested in doing a full academic year or even a summer somewhere abroad. And Tom has been the one who's been coordinating some of those opportunities. I'm gonna let you kind of digest some of what's up on here, but it's really an opportunity for students to be involved in another culture, another volunteer culture, and discover and make new friends and try to expand their horizons that way. And so we do have that opportunity through District 5000. I have also the pleasure to introduce Sherry Imamura Ryan, who's from Toastmasters District 49, who is been super instrumental in helping engage a couple of recent events here for Toastmasters and Rotary International to support our youth through public speaking, training, and skills. And so Sherry, I do want to give you a few minutes here to talk a little bit about Toastmasters.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I have no slides, so if I'll go ahead and talk on the side. So good morning, everyone. My name is Sherry Imamura Ryan, and I've been in Toastmasters for 21 years. I'm also the District 49 Education Committee Chair and this year's Youth Leadership Program Manager. Now, in January of 2020, members of Rotary and Toastmasters formed an alliance with local club members committed to learning and working together. Toastmasters has also already created the structured communication and leadership development courses, and I believe they can be found online at the main Rotary website. So you can now have your own education course through Toastmasters and our alliance. In turn, we as Toastmasters look forward to new speaking and learning opportunities and making a difference in our communities through Rotary. So we thank you for that. We're really excited about that. Now, as a Youth Leadership Program Manager, it's been my pleasure to participate in one workshop in February, and this afternoon we have another one with Ryan. And as Joanne mentioned, tomorrow we have one in Maui with the junior RILA. So please let us know if we can help your Rotary Club or yourself personally through Toastmasters or students to become better speakers and leaders. Both of our organizations started in 1905, can you believe it? And we look forward to continued growth and community impact as we work together. So mahalo, thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. It's been a very recent partnership, like Sherry mentioned, from 2020, but there are actually some educational and training materials that Rotary and Toastmasters have put together for our youth. And this is not actually just for youth, it's also for our adult population here in Rotary, and running a good meeting. How do you be good at public speaking at your meetings and hold an effective virtual meeting? A lot of these training material is available through that partnership between Rotary International and Toastmasters International. And so I'm excited about the future with Sherry and what we're looking to do. We have had the opportunity to host a couple events, and like Sherry mentioned, and we're having another one today. I think the students get a lot of great information about how to run their own Interact Club meetings, or how to run their own meetings at their school, or how to conduct their own interviews, or be a good interviewee at some of their job interviews and college interviews. And so there's a lot of applicability to our youth there. So with that, that covers probably a majority of our youth service programs that have gone on this year, and gives you a little bit of a sneak peek at what's going to be happening next year. I want to take the last kind of 8 minutes here. I know I wasn't able to get to everyone who has helped youth service throughout this year, who's already looking to do more youth service events this upcoming year. I know the District 5000 Polio Plus Committee is looking to find ways to get Polio Plus into our Interact clubs, and try to find ways to have them involved in either vaccinations or supporting it through fundraisers. So I know Sonia over at the district is also working on some of that stuff. There's been a lot of things going on kind of behind the scenes, and I know this is my struggle as the district chair always, is how do we connect people? How do we share that information with everyone here, like here on the call or through other opportunities? My youth service committee meets every second Tuesday of the month, and it's open to everyone. Even though I send the invites only to the presidents and the youth service chairs, it is open to anyone. So please, if you're interested in any of these partnerships, these events, these upcoming trainings, feel free to join our youth service committee, or you can always reach out to me through youth services at rotaryd5000.org. But at this time, I want to open it up to questions because we have about 6 minutes left. Anybody have any questions for anyone who presented from the youth service committee or from myself?
Hey, Ryan, this is Jeff Horvath. Just to give you a heads up, this year, when we have our HRYF training, we'd like to have you just brain dead on our youth services, our youth protection officer provide training, and I'll coordinate with him for that.
Great. There is a upcoming HRYF Zoom, I believe, well, to be determined, but Zoom virtual celebration for this year's group of students who are very qualified. We had some great applicants to our own club.
Yeah, just to give you an update.
We're going to plan that here coming up for sometime, I think in June or July.
Just to give you an update, this is the first year we actually had in-person interviews with the finalists, which was really great.
Great.
So we're improving it every year, and it'll get better and better.
Tim, I see Tim's hand up.
I just wanted to mention that I failed to put out there that RILA is looking at probably doing a hybrid for 2022, where each of the islands will be encouraged to hopefully do an in-person camp. but we also want to add a day or half a day that would involve statewide virtually bringing all of the students together, because that was such a rich experience for them to meet one another from all across the island. So fun and exciting planning, and I want to thank Sandy for inviting me to continue to help with Ryla in her amazing upcoming year.
Joanne, did you have a?
Yes, Junior Ryla is definitely going to be virtual next year. It's the easiest way to get middle school kids together. So we are looking at the Sunday after Super Bowl again, same type of experience. And hopefully we'll be talking to the club presidents to see how we're going to finance it. You know, sponsor kids, not a lot of middle school interacts, but we're hoping clubs will might want to use their grant money, their district grant money to help pay for the middle school Ryla. So virtual next year for middle school.
Great. Any other questions? There has to be some questions.
Yeah, you guys can post them in the chat if you want. If you don't want to, you know, ask them out loud. If you have questions, you can post them in the chat. You know,
I'll give a little promo for our district conference.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we you know, we covered a lot of things today, and so I appreciate it. Hopefully, some of you have gained something out of the presentation today. I know I see many of you who are already on my committee, so hopefully that kind of wrapped everything up and gave you an idea of what the Youth Service Committee has done this year and what we're looking to do next year. But for our district conference, which is coming up on May 15th and 16th, I will be having a more detailed breakout session for a good hour and a half, where we'll have a chance to really talk about best practices, about how to really engage our Interact clubs. How do we restart our Interact clubs in places that have struggled this year or in past years? How do we get our youth to hold effective meetings, put together an agenda, have a secretary recording notes? How do we get them involved in some joint projects with other Interact clubs, or get them doing, you know, their own ideas of projects, coming up with their own ideas of what really matters to them? That was one of the topics at our last Toastmasters event, was what matters to you as youth in our state. And I think if we can make this and personalize this as much to their interests and their goals as in their careers and their education, then I feel like we'll have a lot more to offer our Interact clubs around the state. And so for our district conference, I will have the opportunity to work more closely with you to do that. And then I will also have a second breakout session at district conference where we'll invite our Interact clubs to it, their advisors, and we'll look at maybe doing some project competitions maybe, or service competitions next year to get our Interact clubs a little energized, where there might be a prize at the end, or a unique opportunity that might be afforded the club that does the most community service over the course of the year. So some of the ideas that are being thrown around are stuff like that. And so we're looking to talk a little bit more about that at our district conference on May 15th and 16th. So.
Okay, and Ryan, thanks. You know, you got a couple of minutes left. I wanted to actually just throw an idea out that you know, after we had our last in-person Ryla up here I'm on Hawaii Island with Tim, and we actually floated the idea of trying to put together a community interact. Where a lot of schools in an area can feed into it, and that has wide range appeal simply because kids want to meet kids from other schools. The great thing about doing community interact is that you don't have to have a faculty sponsor, and you can have up to 3 separate clubs sponsor a community interact. And one of the great advantages of having a community interact is that it's an automatic feeder for those kids that come into Ryla or junior Ryla. Then they have a place to go now. We can automatically, when they're done with Ryla, feed them right into these Interact clubs where they can, you know, continue their groups that they work that they did in the Ohana groups and all that kind of stuff. But you know, think about that in your different areas. I know we're thinking about it over here in East Hawaii as something to get you know, a deeper footing in place for Interact, because as Ryan said, I mean, that's the beginning of Rotary, is to get these kids involved in it at an early stage, and getting them to go from, you know, Interact to Rotaract to, you know, regular Rotary clubs. So, okay, gang, we're at the end of our time, man. Time flies when you're having fun. So we're going to close this session out. We take a 5-minute break. We're going to come back with another session on expanding your reach, and we've got some great presenters during that time. So I appreciate everybody joining on today and spending your Saturday talking about youth and especially about Rotary. So thanks a lot. If you guys are going to stay for the next session, no problem. You got a 5-minute break. And if you're not, well, we'll see you in cyberspace somewhere at another time. So take care. Aloha.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
Okay, let me